Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Merle in case you're new here. Skeletor. Yes, you. I want to make a fashion doll out of you. What say you?
We will form an alliance, but only until our task is complete.
So for today's project, I am creating a Lady Skeletor who will be bounding as him. I'm so excited. I had this project on my mind for a while. Decided to go with this beautiful Crystal Bailey. Unfortunately, the other doll that would have matched Skeletor's skin color better weren't on sale or out at the time. But she's a perfect match in my eyes. As I was brainstorming ideas and concepts for Lady Skeletor, I knew she has to be heavy metal. So I went to a fabric shop, got a bunch of fabrics like this velvet, which I didn't end up using, this drawstring, and the faux leather for her boots. First, I started out making those loincloth panties. You know what I mean. And ta-da! This is how they turned out. Next, I decided to go with a half pleated skirt. First step, I had to finish the seam allowance all around the edges. After I was done with that, I continued on to marking where my pleats have to go. This is after I pleated a little part of it, and I just have to continue. After that was done, I just had to squeeze all of that into my little waistband. I already love how it's looking. Now I just need a closure and some embellishment, don't you think? And voila, a pleated half skirt. FYI, I ended up dyeing it darker because it was a little too bright. To mimic the cape that Skeletor is wearing, I decided to make a pattern for an oversized crop top hoodie for her. After cutting out the pieces, I decided to sew the hood first, which was pretty simple to do, just align the pieces, sew, and do the same thing over for the lining. By facing right sides together and sewing along the outer edge. Off camera, I added eyelets and a tunnel for the drawstring to go into. Turning it outside in again, the seam in the back has to be closed, so when you turn it around, it has an opening in the back of the sweater so that all of the hair is able to move out of the hoodie at the end. Yeah, and it looks awful. I hate it. Let's start over with these fabrics. Off camera, I created these. Let's speed up the process of how I made the hoodie. If you're interested in the pattern that I created for my Rainbow High doll, I want to offer this pattern on my Magical Babe tier on my Patreon, coming soon in the future. I'm still working on the details of uploading it on my Patreon, but keep your eyes peeled for that. It's still coming up. The next step on my hoodie after closing up the main seams is to hem the front and the back pieces. You can either use your Yoo-hoo glue or I sewed it this way. Next, attaching the sleeve like so. Folding the shirt in half and sewing along the side seam and the sleeve seam. I added eyelets and a little tunnel for the drawstring into this hood as well, like I did with my first not so good piece. It looks so good and it's functional. You can actually pull on the strings. Now I just have to attach the hood to the sweater piece. Taking the seam allowance of the hood, I slightly overlap it in the front of the top. Next, I work my way slowly around the edge till I hit the back of the top, where the closure will be. And after pinning it like this, I just have to sew all around it. And it's done. It's so cute. I love it. It looks so much better than my first version. With my printable vinyl, she has a graphic hoodie. I wrapped up her feet into saran wrap, so I was able to mold the air dry clay to her feet to create little platform shoes. They turned out pretty good. With my air dry foam clay, I just have to create the shoe cap. Oops, I forgot to make little paper soles, so it's way easier. With tape, I tape it to the bottom of her feet so that I can attach the toe cap around the little paper soles, making it easier for the shoes later on. It looks already pretty good. I buffed out the shoe shape a little more with my foam clay, so it ended up looking like this. I made a pattern out of faux leather and started making these little combat boots. Around the toe cap, I used my jersey to give it a more finished look. The next step is to attach the tongue to the shoe. It was a little hard to do, but luckily I had Skeletor's magic staff to assist me. With more Ohu glue, I'm attaching the rest of the shoe. After adding the sole, I feel like the shoe needs more, so I got these little studs and I glued them all over the toe cap. Now I just have to paint it with acrylic paint to make it look less glam rock. I was debating between shag cut or straight hair, but I ended up giving her a boil wash for straight hair. And on to the face up!
Welcome, travelers, and welcome to the dungeon that is my brain, where you will face danger, trials of patience, and the perils of bad material. And in the end, many lessons learned. Before we get started here, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. The camera forgot to turn itself on when I was painting, so blame it on the camera. Let's pause this right here, though. I just wanted to explain real quick why I'm doing this right here. We were thinking a lot about, okay, what do we want to do with Lady Skeletor? Do we want to go really literal and give her, you know, that kind of creepy metal-ish-esque skeleton face? Or do we just want to give her like a really smoky eye? Where do we want to go with this? And we saw some pictures and we thought it looked really cool, and it would have been such a nice contrast in her face to give her like this mask-like appearance, and we wanted to do that with just pastels. What ended up happening was that the pastels that I'm using are like 1,000 years old, and I thought that wouldn't be a problem, but it was. The pigment was not building up at all, and I couldn't get it to look right. She just started looking grayer and grayer, and I used so much MSC it started getting really blotchy. So I tried to go in with Posca pens and you know, kind of like give her a literal skeleton mask, which did not work out the way I wanted it to. And I tried smoothing and blending and doing everything I could, but honestly, if you don't have the right materials, you will just get so frustrated and you will think you as an artist are a failure, and sometimes it really is just the material. I hope nobody's watching this who actually knows what they're doing when they do doll face-ups, because just me rewatching what I'm doing right here, it makes me want to cry. So by all means, if you're sitting there, please have a good cry or scream at the screen, because that's what I wanted to do.
No! 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 I threw it on the ground.
I didn't actually throw it on the ground. I did wipe the whole face down with acetone to get all the paint off that I put on there before. And Merle was such a dear. She knew how frustrated I was, so she got me a whole new pack of Faber-Castell pastels. Really new, really nice. And look at that. The pigment is actually building up. Also remember to spray the doll with Mr. Super Clear as soon as the pigments aren't picking up the way you want it to, unless you're working with bad materials like I did. You always put a new layer of Mr. Super Clear on so that you can keep drawing and painting. I wanted to give her kind of sassy eyebrows because Skeletor is sassy, and he's such a mood. I'm curious, do you guys think Skeletor would be metal, or do you see him as something else, like goth or punk? Also, let us know if we actually got this right. Would this be something that a metler would wear, like makeup-wise? Or are we completely off here? Did anybody notice that I graduated from smudging everything with my fingers to actually using Q-tips? Yeah, you should be proud of me. At least I'm doing that right. Merle even got me cotton gloves. And I didn't get along with them yet. Maybe next time. It's a learning curve. As you can see, I'm using reds and purples here around the eyes and in the waterline and the nose. I really didn't want the grays and blacks to look flat. I wanted them to have a little bit of life. The eyebrows were so satisfying to do because I could get them to look really nice and crisp, at least in my opinion. I think part of it was the colors because this doll just has this amazing hair, and in my opinion, it is so Skeletor. If Skeletor was a woman and had hair, he would have that hair color, totally. So this is when her eyes were still black and sad, and I wanted to add this red glow in there to give it that kind of like 80s creepy skeleton vibe. Merle said it was too small, it looked too creepy, so I made the red glow a little bit bigger, and I think it turned out nice for all the struggles I had. Nice in a creepy kind of way. I actually had to hide this doll from my son because I didn't want him finding it and having like childhood trauma because of a doll I painted. I hope you can learn from my mistakes and do things better than I did. And remember, my friends, stay fabulous.
At the center of the universe, at the border between the light and the dark, stands Castle Grayskull.
Here she is, my metal lady Skeletor. I love how she turned out. I really struggled a little bit to get it just right. And I love her. I love her for my collection. She's a nice contrast to all of my pink and stuff. But yeah, she is so cute. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and leave a comment. And would you be interested in me continuing this Masters of the Universe bounding series? I have a few more dolls that I bought on sale, so who would you like to see next? Just write it down in the comments and then I can count it together and we can see who is gonna join my beautiful Lady Skeletor. Look how sparkly the toe caps are. Oh, I love her. She's so cute. And yeah, see you in my next video. Hope you have a good week and see you soon. Sorry this video came out so later than I wanted, 2 months later. But yeah, mental health is a biatch. So yeah, see you soon. Love you lots. Thank you for sticking around, and see you in my next video. Bye!
Dude, you sound like Moonlight Jewel, you know that, right?
I know, I heard it too. I was like, no, I watched too many of her videos. Dang it. I apologize.
I think it's funny.